Hello and welcome to part one of having more harmonious relationships in your life. Please be in a place where you won't be interrupted for about 15 minutes. And sit in a comfortable chair where your spine can be straight but you're still comfortable. Feet can be flat on the floor. Have some water nearby and paper and pen. I invite you to close your eyes. And imagine the scenario that was upsetting to you that happened with a loved one or some other significant person in your life. Put yourself into that scene. Where were you? What was going on? What did you feel? What did you hear? What did you see? What happened? Really feel into what was going on. Put yourself there. This is not to cause you pain. We're not going to stay there long, but put yourself right in that situation. How was that for you? Were there other people there? What happened? How did you feel? What did you hear? What did you see? What did you taste? What did you touch? Anything about this that puts you into that scenario. And when you're there, really there, I want you to rate how you're feeling on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 is the highest kind of a thing where you are so angry and frustrated and you just can't stand it. You want to spit nails. You want to hit something. You want to scream. You want to throw something. It's just, I can't bear this one more minute. I want to tear my hair out. And 1 is, well, yeah, that happened. And it was, that thing, but it's not that big a deal. I want you to rate how you're feeling about that right now in your body. How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Open your eyes briefly and write down the number. And then, if you would, breathe deeply into your belly, allowing that wonderful life force energy to come deep into the belly, allowing the belly to expand out from your spine, really having that wonderful life force energy come into your belly to nourish you. And as you're breathing, imagine that you could attach a grounding cord to the base of your spine, and that this grounding cord could go down from the base of your spine through the layers of the earth to the center of the earth. And as it goes down through the layers of the earth, it gets a little bit larger, so that by the time it gets to the center of the earth, it's at least the diameter of your hips. And when it gets to the center of the earth, plug it in into the center of the earth as if that's your own special plug-in that's just for you. And as you plug that in, it begins to draw from you anything that's upsetting for you, any emotions, any that are troubling for you, any negativity that you may have taken on from someone, any attachments that you may have that are draining you, anything that's not in alignment with who you really are, anything that's not serving you to the highest, anything that's troubling you, just allow that to flow down into the center of the earth, where it'll be transmuted by Mother Earth. And you don't have to really think about this. We've just plugged this in. It's going to continue to work as we are going forward here. It's going to continue to draw from you things that are not in alignment with who you really are, any kind of negativities, any kind of upsetting emotion. And just receive a deep breath. And imagine, if you would, that 30 feet above you is a golden cylinder of light, and the cylinder is at least 2 feet wider than the diameter of your body. And this golden cylinder of light is filled with light that's like sunshine. It's filled with a life force and an energetic. It's also warm and very soothing. It also has kind of a sparkly quality to it. It's kind of an effervescence that's like a cleansing kind of a sense. And this will continue to shine down on you as we're working here. And as it shines down on you, it comes down through your head and your neck and your upper torso, your shoulders and collarbones. It comes down through your arms and your fingers. It comes down through the mid-torso, the mid-back and ribs. Comes down through the lower back and belly, down through the hips, down through the thighs, down through the knees, down through the lower legs, the ankles, down through the feet and out the toes. And as this comes all the way down through you, from the top of your head all the way down through the bottoms of your feet, imagine that this light also comes up around you, filling you with this amazing energy of unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. The light that's around you is like this orb or a little light cocoon. It's very soft and soothing, like you're kind of encased in a downy comforter. It's that wonderfully soft and gentle. And you can feel these wonderful energies, like you could just surrender into them and kind of like be soothed, pampered, embraced by these. And allow these wonderful energies of unconditional love and unconditional acceptance to permeate from the outside in through you, like it kind of just absorbs in through your skin. It still is around you, but all these energies and these qualities of energy comes in through you. And just receive a deep breath. And imagine, if you would, that out in front of you is a bubble. Oh, maybe the size of a beach ball. And inside this bubble is a magnet, like a horseshoe magnet. It's very powerful, and the two ends of the horseshoe are pointed towards you. And if you would, with your intention and your permission, allow anything that was upsetting about that scenario that you referenced right before we started here, allow that to go into the bubble. Any frustrations, any words, any feelings, any anger, any any upset from anywhere in your body, anything that in any way was hurtful to you or distressful to you. And I invite you to scan your body from the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your feet, noticing any tension in your body, breathing into any tension, and as you're breathing into the tension where you feel it, allowing that to be softened and released into the bubble. So as you're scanning down, your intention is for anything that was upsetting, anything that's stuck in you from that encounter is released into the bubble. And the bubble can get as big as it needs to get. But just scan down through, breathing and releasing, scanning, breathing and releasing, having the intention that anything about that is going into the bubble. Any upsets, any ruffled feathers, anything you hear about that, anything you're seeing about that in your mind's eye perhaps, anything connected with that was upsetting, allow it to flow into the bubble. Again, the bubble can get as big as it needs to get. So you're scanning all the way down through the body, allowing this to be released into the bubble. And since this is a recording, if you need more time on this step, you can pause it. And then once you feel that you've scanned all the way down, the bubble has everything that you've scanned into its presence. Everything is released into the bubble. Let's just do a 3D scanner all the way around your body like they have at the airport, only this one is filled with golden healing light and a dissolver energy as well. So as this 3D scanner goes all the way around you, and it also does the top and bottom of you, this light is shining in you and through you in such a way that nothing can hide from it. Any kind of particles or anything trying to hide behind something that was stuck about this situation will just be illuminated. And it's really happy to have the light shine on it because it really does want to move on. It just didn't know quite how. So when it's illuminated, it's happy to go. So the 3D scanner is shining all the way around you, scanning, releasing any particles, atoms, anything that was left by this scenario that's not serving you, that was upsetting you in any way, it's released into the bubble. And we're going to do one last thing. Imagine that you have a commanding wand, I'll call it, kind of like a magic wand, in your hand. And with the power of a king or a queen, on the count of 3, you're going to touch it to your head, imaginary, you're going to touch it to your head, and if there's anything within you that it has to do with that scenario that was upsetting. It will be released into the bubble. Any last little flecks or atoms or molecules or particles will be released. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And it just releases into the bubble. Receive a deep breath into your belly. And imagine, if you would, that there's another bubble to the side of this first bubble. It could be on either side, doesn't matter. But this bubble's gold, and it has a gold magnet in it. Again, a horseshoe with the 2 ends pointing towards the first bubble. In between the 2 bubbles is a gold filter. Also attached to the gold bubble is a gold vacuum cleaner with a very powerful force of suction. So I'm going to turn on this gold vacuum cleaner, and the suction of the vacuum cleaner, in addition to the magnet, will suck out of that first bubble all of your personal power through the gold filter into the gold bubble. So we're taking your personal power out of that first bubble. Anything that tries to come with it, we'll just meet up with that gold filter and slide down into the earth where it'll be transmuted. So your personal power is being pulled from that first bubble through the gold filter into the gold bubble. Again, the gold bubble can get as big as it needs to get. And when you feel like all of your personal power is in the gold bubble, again, you can pause if you need to, then receive a deep breath. And imagine bringing more gold energy into, and golden light into the top of your gold bubble. We're going to bring in some dissolver energy as well, kind of like if you were to add something to your washing machine, and it agitates a little bit with this dissolver energy, but very gently. We're going to put a grounding cord on the gold bubble all the way to the center of the earth, so that we're infusing this with gold and this unconditional love, just in case anything came through the gold filter. Highly unlikely, but we'd like to do a double check. So allowing dissolver energy, this wonderful gold, all of this unconditional love and acceptance, filling this gold bubble. There's also some beautiful emerald green healing light coming in, and some beautiful pink love energy, some beautiful light blue peace and harmony, all these wonderful lights filling this gold bubble with gold, emerald green, pink, light blue, some white light in there as well. And then we're going to cut the grounding cord, and imagine that you could bring this gold bubble filled with all these wonderful lights into your heart, and just allow it to melt into your heart space. And as it melts into your heart space, it also goes into your back. And these energies also then begin to flow down your torso, filling your torso with all this gold and emerald green and pink and light blue and your personal power. It goes into your hips and down through your legs and your feet. And it also flows upward into your upper chest, up into your collarbones and your shoulders and down through your arms and your fingers, and it goes up to your neck and your head, filling you with all this amazing unconditional love and unconditional acceptance, all this healing energy, all this peace and harmony. Just receive a deep breath. And if you could in some way look down through your body, you would see your cells are very happy. They're very celebratory at having this personal power return to them, and they're very happy and filled with all this love, all this joy, all this peace, all this healing energy. And then look out and see if you can see that first bubble. Sometimes it disappears on its own, but if it hasn't, just encase it in its own gold bubble and throw it down your grounding cylinder. Or if you choose, you could have a golden slingshot where you could just sling it out into the universe where it will be transmuted for highest good. And the gold filter will go back to where it needs to go until next time. So just receive a deep breath. And imagine that you were in that scenario that you had at the beginning of this. Put yourself there again. Be in that scene. And how does it feel to you now? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being this is insufferable, I can't take it one more minute, I just want to tear my hair out, I'm so angry, I'm so frustrated, I want to throw something, I want to hit something, I can't take it one more minute. And 1 being, it really wasn't that big a deal. It's just, some blip or whatever. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how does it feel to you now? And then just open your eyes and write down that number. And I would imagine it's probably lower by now. The number's lower. I invite you to use these tools anytime you feel triggered by a loved one or anyone else that's significant in your life, anytime you have an upset. I find if I'm in public, for example, and something happens, I feel uneasy or something kind of gets in, whatever, I just excuse myself and go to the bathroom and just take a few minutes to breathe, ground, bring in some gold, put a bubble out, and get everything out into the bubble, and then pull my power out into the gold bubble and bring it back into myself and get rid of the first bubble. And just breathe, regain my composure. It's kind of like for a woman touching up your makeup.